Happy Miracle Monday. My name is Dawn Petalino, and I am your transformational coach and the best-selling author of Peace, Power, and Miracles. And Miracle Monday is just where I remind you of certain truths and offer certain practical tools so you can invite miracles into your life. Today's is about when we're worrying about circumstances and conditions, or we're frustrated with people or conditions, and we want to solve them. Then there is only one thing that you can do. There's only one thing that you can ever do to experience that heaven on earth, to experience that miracles. And that is to raise your own consciousness. So when the circumstance comes into your life, what you have to do is you have to go back and you have to remember, and this is a tricky part, but you have to go back and remember that there is only one power that exists here. That everything I'm seeing here is the illusion. It is, I know when people are acting in certain ways or the situation seems really scary, this is a difficult leap to make. But in this leap, you are demonstrating that higher consciousness. You are demonstrating the consciousness of God, the Christ consciousness, the higher consciousness. You are rising in your own consciousness when you don't stay stuck in the problem, but when you say, I am making my demonstration here, there is only one power, and that power is God. And whether you call that the universe, God, the quantum field, the higher consciousness, I personally use the word God because that resonates with me. But whenever I say it, I had a situation this morning that it looked like I wanted to be angry at this person. It just looked like things were going bad. And I had to do, this is where the practical part comes in. You have to suspend the story that you're telling. So I had to stop thinking of what my anger towards this person, what I was going to say to this person, what I thought they were doing. And I had to suspend that thought and open my mind to say, I don't know. But I do know this, that I'm turning this entire situation over to the one power. There is one consciousness, and that is the power of love. And that is what I'm turning this over. And then I have to, and again, this is the tricky part, I have to keep an open mind and release my judgments. And it's kind of like a wait and see. Because the real deal is, when I turn something over, when I rise to the consciousness and say, this is going to be used for for God's power. This situation is not my business. It's not my business. Now, my ego doesn't like to hear that because I like to be right. And especially when I think somebody else is wrong, or if a situation concerns me and my mind wants to play out the scenario of, oh no, this is awful, and it wants to go into a story, stop. In that moment, make your declaration. The only affirmation that we ever need to make is the one that says, there is only one power here. And I am performing this demonstration right now. All that means is I am demonstrating my Christ consciousness right now. That heaven on earth. I am demonstrating that there is only one source here, and I don't have to know the outcome. Our mind doesn't have to come to some conclusion about it. And that's the tricky part, because we want an answer and we want it now, but there's only one answer, and that answer is to surrender, turn it over, and to recognize. It's not just turning it over and still worrying about it, because that's staying in that lower consciousness. We have to bring ourselves up and say, there is only one power. If $1 is needed, $1 will appear. If housing is needed, housing will appear. And it doesn't mean that, all of a sudden if we say, well, this business is dedicated to that power. Now, don't be surprised if you get more business, but that's not why you're doing it. Because if I'm still doing it to obtain something, then I'm still thinking there's a lack here. But when my consciousness says that God is my only source and my supply, and I need not worry about this, nothing can hold a candle to the only power there is. When I can raise my consciousness to that, then that is the only certainty. And the Course in Miracles will tell you This is your only certainty, that the love of God is what sustains you. And it says you put your certainty in such foolish things. You put it in money and pills and clothing and influence and prestige and people liking you. And all that is worthless. The only safety and the only security is the love of God, is one power. And if we can, even just for an instant, and the Course in Miracles talks about, that one instant, if we have that one instant where we can believe it, where we can kind of catch it and say, in this moment, it's not my business. There's only one power, and I'm willing to wait and see and to allow that power to do what it will do. Now, in that moment, you've just got into miracle-mindedness, and you have touched the higher consciousness. It is the consciousness that changes conditions. It is not the conditions that change the conditions. It's not me getting in there and fixing it. It's not me getting there and telling somebody they're wrong. It's not me. We have to suspend our thinking and pause, keep an open mind, and wait. And I even say, what would you have me do here? And a lot of times I'm humbled. A lot of times I'm humbled by, even this morning's particular instance, I was humbled because here I wanted to cast judgment on somebody. I was getting my answer all ready to go. And then I didn't even need to do it because, they came out with an opinion or something that was totally different from what I anticipated. And I was humbled that, oh, guess what? I don't have to solve it. It's not my business. And that's what we have to remember. Our business is not our business. And we have to just rise to the level of consciousness that says, if there is something that needs to be done, if there is a need that needs to be met, then that power will do so. And I do not have to worry about it because I am part of that power. That power lives in me. That power is the only power, and I am part of that power. Therefore, I can let this situation go to the grace of God. And that's what you will find, is that you will live under grace. And the Course of Love and the Course of Miracles and probably many other spiritual teachings will refer to that when we let it go and we raise our consciousness out of the worry and the fear, and that is the trickiest part, pull away, keep an open mind, remind yourself, I am making my demonstration now, and I'm not thinking about it. I'm going to wait and see. And then we can rise to that consciousness and let God do what God is going to do. Happy Miracle Monday. I hope you take that out into your day. If this was helpful, I hope you like it, share it. Check out my website, www.donpetalino.com, for more resources there. And I hope you have a miraculous Monday and that you keep your thinking in the higher demonstration of what you know is true and walk the talk. Happy Miracle Monday. I look forward to seeing you next week. I hope you have a miraculous Monday, and bye for now.